Hello, everyone. Welcome. Get everyone checked in here. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Nice to see you.
Let's see.
Could you turn your speaker up a little bit more tonight? Your volume?
Sure. Yes. Relating to last teacher or last time?
Last time you taught.
Okay. Sure. Yes.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you for the feedback. I always appreciate it. Okay. So it's been a little while since I got to be with everyone. I had just a little surgeries, not anything too major, but tonight's class will be nice and slow, as you saw. Okay, just getting everyone checked in, and I know we all, sometimes our Zoom has numbers instead of names, but there's someone listed as a number, and if you wouldn't mind just they're letting me know your name or putting it in the chat, I will get you.
Catherine.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Perfect. Hope everyone's had a happy holiday season so far and get a lot of rest this weekend. Okay. All right, so we're gonna get started in just a second here. I'm getting us set up on Facebook, but I'm gonna make sure last time or last week that we streamed to Facebook, it had someone else on the view as well. So I'm gonna make sure that's not happening this week. No offense, but just because people might not realize.
Just so you know,
Mhm.
there's some names and some people on several of the classes that you posted to YouTube. From
Like
prior
names
classes.
showing up.
Names of like people that were in the class. I don't think it really divulged anybody,
Okay.
but you might want to take a look at that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, this is new. We just started trying to stream to Facebook so that the members could join as well. Um, but thank you. I will remember that.
That was for YouTube.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for your patience as we get started. If you are all ready to go, you have your props with you, just go ahead and find a comfortable seated position. We'll meet you right there. Okay, it's appearing as of right now that is just one person on the screen. Great. All right, we'll get started here. So as I mentioned before, in the email, this evening's class is going to be all about releasing kind of head and neck tension. It's actually geared towards releasing a headache, but I find that it actually is a really calming practice and is really helpful for if you're a little bit stressed or just have been kind kind of a lot going on recently, which may or may not be the case. Oh, and to answer the question, doesn't matter, cameras on or off is up to you. So I know personally, this holiday may look very different, or this holiday season may look very different than ones in the past. And so just because it is either a lot quieter or maybe a lot busier doesn't necessarily mean that our mind feels exactly the same way. So even if your season was very quiet, you may be thinking a lot about, lots of different things, what you would be doing, or just the mind can be very busy. So tonight we're just going to practice calming the mind and just feeling okay with letting go and releasing some bits of this year that just are what they are, as we prepare to go into 2021, which is exciting, but won't be all that drastically different for a little while, so we can still practice this resilience. So in your comfortable position, just start to close down your eyes. We're aiming to deepen the breath here. No worries about counts or anything specific with the breath, just in and out. In and out, nice and deep breaths. A couple more just like this, maybe rolling out your shoulders, maybe moving the neck, the head side to side, whatever feels good as you settle into this space. Your last breath here. And let it go. We're going to take a few rounds of breath with counts now. If the counts feel constricting, you can always let it go. But if you'd like to come along and just try it out, see what it feels like to actually count the inhale and exhale. So often we think we're breathing deeply, but we're actually going so fast. So with me, we'll inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe, pause at the top. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Really slow. Keep going. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we have 5 more rounds of this option to come along with me. I'll just gently say the counts, or do it at your own pace. If you're with me, inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Let all your thoughts go. Just the sound of the breath. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice and even. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pausing at the bottom. Closing the eyes if they weren't already. Taking a couple of breaths, a couple rounds just for you on your own. Feel that peace, that calm that you've cultivated in just a few breaths. And we set our intention for the practice here. So perhaps you have an external intention that you'd like to bring into this practice. You are welcome to do so. If not, if you're searching for one tonight, the breath is right there in front of you. We latch onto it. Our intention for this evening is just to see how far our relaxation can go when we tune into the breath and the breath only. So perhaps getting an hour to yourself is very rare. Perhaps you have more hours to yourself than you know what to do with. Wherever you are along that whole spectrum, you have the opportunity here tonight to let everything else go and just focus on the breath. With your eyes still closed, hands come to heart center. Inhale. Big exhale, let everything go. We inhale for Om to seal that intention, begin our practice. Inhale. Beautiful. Fluttering open your eyes, little shoulder roll, neck stretch side to side, just bringing some life back into the body, some gentle movement. We're going to start with some neck stretches, moving into some shoulder stretches. So again, our breath is still the focus the entire practice. Don't let that go. See how far the breath can take you. In your centered position, hands can be on top of your knees, or they can be by your sides in a low V position, whatever works for you. We inhale, grow the spine a couple inches, nice and tall. Exhale, send one ear over to one shoulder. Doesn't matter which one. You'll feel that stretch right away in the opposite side. Now, this is a very personal stretch. It's very different from person to person. So if you'd like to elevate it and send that arm out, touching fingertips to the earth, welcome to do so. If you want to stay right where you are, that's where I am. No problem. We're here for a couple more breaths. As you exhale, let the ear drop just an inch more. As you inhale, lengthen, sending it long on a diagonal. Like you're actively pulling the head away from the opposite shoulder on your inhale. Exhale, letting it drop to the shoulder. Couple more breaths here. Last breath. Last exhale. Gently just rock your head forward. Chin comes to chest. We're going to take a very slow roll all the way through until we find the other side, pausing wherever you need to. If you feel any really good stretch that you'd like to take. Woo. Find any bit that's especially loud. We'll come back to it, no worries. Coming to the other side, ear to shoulder. Figure out where your arm wants to be on this opposite side, and then we settle in for our 5 breaths. Inhale, extending on a diagonal, energy coming from the crown of the head, and exhale, let it drop. This movement is so small, almost indiscernible from the outside view, but you definitely feel it. Maybe let the jaw go. Release the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Last breath. And last exhale, gently coming through center, rolling all the way back to the other side. And then we keep this roll a couple more times through center, but you have time here if you want to pause. If you find a bit of extreme tension, just pause there. Inhale, exhale, let it go, and then keep going. We're here for 3 more breaths. Last breath. And last exhale, beautiful job. Coming back through center. Go ahead and grab a towel, or if you have a strap, I have this little resistance band that I'm going to use tonight. We're starting holding the band in both of our hands, or the strap. So if you have a strap, you can just hold wherever you'd like to along. It's going to be about your shoulder width distance. So starting in this position, hands are going to come out in front of you, and then they're just going to come up and then back down. Probably doesn't feel like a lot at first, but we're going to take a bunch of repetitions through this. So if you want a more active stretch tonight, you're going to push out, kind of like pulling your hands apart. You'll feel that actually in the outsides of your shoulder joint, maybe even kind of traveling to the upper back. If you want a more restorative approach, just let the hands be loose, no pulling. Now we're going to marry up our breath to movement here. So we're going to inhale as you extend overhead, finding length through the spine. Exhale, drop the hands. So your breath is mirrored by your motion here. So as even as your motion is, that's how even your breath should be. See if they can both become even together. You may be starting to feel the shoulders light up just a little bit. If you are, remind them to drop down your back when you release and come back down, or even when you rise your hands overhead. Let them fall down away from the ears. Couple more. Inhale and exhale. 2 more, all the way through. Beautiful job. Nice, nice work. Now coming back down through center, go ahead and release your elbows. Just shaking the arms out if anything built up some tension. And now we're going to bring them up overhead again. Keeping them overhead, we're going to go side to side. So it doesn't matter which side you go to first. We're going to inhale in the center and exhale over to one side. You'll feel that stretch in the outside of your shoulder, maybe even traveling kind of to the front here. Inhale back through center and exhale to the other side. We'll hold just a little bit here. Beautiful job. Inhale back through center. Now your pace is up to you, however slow or fast you'd like to go. Make sure the breath is right along with the movement. If you can, try to limit twisting the torso towards your hands. I know that feels really good, but we'll get to the twists later, no worries. Keeping the spine nice and parallel, kind of like it's between two panes of glass. For those friends who love a good half moon in hatha practice, this is very similar. 2 more on each side all the way through. If your arms need a break, you can always drop them, just kind of shake them out and come back. Your last round here. And then we get to the favorite round. Nice jab coming through center. Go ahead and release the arms. Didn't realize we were going to get a little shoulder workout. All right, now the last round, we're going to start with our hands behind our backs, just so that we figure out where our hands feel comfortable. So for me, I use the same grip, but I actually flip my hands to be facing towards me. So you can see they're facing down like this. So we're going to take that same flow, but it's going to be above and then below. Don't know why I use those words. We're just going to rise up and then back down. So if you're feeling super flexible and you'd like to try from this position above your head and go back, you can. But again, for me, it's a little bit easier from this lower position. Once you find where you'd like to be, you inhale as you extend up and exhale as you return back to your body. Inhale and exhale. Feeling a good stretch actually through the chest here as well. Let this be an active motion. Again, evening out just as your breath evens out. This is a really good moment to tune into our theme. Our mantra for this evening. That it's okay if productivity looks different this season. It is okay if productivity looks different in this season. So productivity in this stretch might feel different. It might look very different from the 2 that we just did, but it doesn't mean it's any less valid, worthwhile. Couple more here. If your mind starts to wander, just tune back into the breath. Make it the loudest thing you can hear. A couple rounds of that should get rid of any distraction. Your last one, and then let it go. Gently release your hands. Let go of that strap. We won't need it anymore. Take any rolls that you need. And we're going to settle into another round of breath with pause, what we did at the beginning. But this time, it's all up to you. So we have 3 minutes here, just tuning into the breath. You inhale, little pause, and then exhale, let it go. As we've warmed the body, so we've started to release any fidgets through movement. Now we tune back into our mind, cultivating that calm. We do this at the beginning, we do this now, and then we do it one more time before the close of our practice. So pay attention to the feelings you have now. Is it difficult? Is it easy to calm the mind? we're learning about ourselves here. You're about halfway through. Keep going, even when it doesn't feel productive, keep going. Gently start to come out of your space. Just start to open the eyes. Maybe wiggling the hands or the feet. We're going to come into our first restorative posture of the evening. We're going to lay down on our backs, bringing one of our pillows with us. So you have an option here. If you're near a wall and would like to take this up a wall, you are welcome to do that. Or I'll show you the option if you don't have a wall nearby, just so that you can be in the open of your space. So we're coming back into a legs up the bolster pose or legs up the wall. And if you are not near a wall, you're just going to come to seated onto the bolster or the pillow, and then just start to roll yourself back. Your tailbone should be on the bolster, your torso on the ground. You can stay like this, or you can rise your legs high to the sky, kind of balancing them here. Now, if that balance feels like it's activating your hip flexors and you want to just bring them down, feel free to do that. They can always just be on the ground. Once you get into your posture, hands are going to come out by your sides into a low V, just relaxing into this posture. So the key here, as we're releasing tension from our back, allowing it to lengthen out and allowing the tailbone to tuck gently under, is to release all the tension in the head and the shoulders, rolling them down the back. So if we're going up the wall in this pose, all you're doing is legs are going up the wall, just kind of resting there so that you don't have to hold them with your hip flexors. I'll show you if you have a wall nearby where you're going. If you're already there, just stay there. So if you have a wall, you're just going to do the same thing. You can come up to the wall with one hip, up to the wall, and then tip yourself around. Or you could do the same thing with your bolster up against the wall, coming up one hip against the wall, and then kind of an interesting maneuver to get yourself up. Legs are up here so that you can just let them rest, and then you roll yourself all the way back and down. So coming into this pose, whichever you've chosen, we'll be here for 10 breath cycles, so a little while. Challenge here, like I said, is to just release the head and neck. Often in this position, we let our shoulders creep up to our ears, relax them down the back. Of course, we release the tension throughout our legs and throughout our hips, just letting them go. Nice deep inhales and exhales. Option for that pause breath if you'd like to add it here. Release the jaw again, tongue falls off the roof of the mouth. Cultivating this calm and stillness. Knowing in your heart that small progress is still progress. No one is weak for needing rest. Our bodies do so much for us every day, especially in this season. We're asking so much of ourselves in body and in mind and spirit. You are not weak for needing rest or even just appreciating rest. If your feet start to lose feeling, no worries. You can bend your knees. You can wiggle out your toes and return to legs up the bolster or up the wall, or you can just have them on the earth for our last few breaths. I have 3 rounds left. If you're a little bit slower or faster, no worries, just finish out your cycles. Your last breath cycle here. And your last exhale, gently coming out of your pose. If your legs are up the wall, just bend your knees. Maybe windshield wiper your legs side to side. If you are on your back, on the ground, lower your knees, or lower your feet rather, and just rock your knees side to side. And then gently just start to roll yourself away from the wall if you're there. We're going to come to a seated position and reset our low back with a reclined bridge pose. So if you do have two pillows, this would be a great time to use both of them. I have a really long one here. I'm gonna lay that on my mat lengthwise, and I'm gonna lay myself over top of that from my top half up. Now I'm gonna use a neck pillow, which is my second one, to go underneath of my neck so that my head doesn't fall backwards. But you can set this up however you'd like. What we want basically is just making ourselves a bed. We want a really cushy surface for our upper half and maybe as well for our lower half if your pillow is extremely long. So once you get there, we're just gonna roll ourselves back over top and reset our back from that position we were just in a reclined bridge. Now the way that I make this a reclined bridge, even though it doesn't seem like a bridge, is by not having a pillow underneath of my legs. So there's a very slight decline. Beautiful, yes, exactly. This may be a lot for the low back right away. If it is, you can always bend your knees. We're here for just a little bit, just to reset our back before we fold forward. Again, releasing the head and neck, bringing the shoulders as far away from the ears as you can without tension. We're here for 5 breaths, nice and deep. Arms are in a low V, extending, lengthening through the torso, through the chest. Your last breath here. And then very slowly exhale and start to find yourself coming up to a seated position. Beautiful. Now we're gonna come, like I said, into our forward fold, releasing and extending the back. So if you have your pillow, it'll come just on top of your legs. We're gonna come into a nice forward fold where we just lay over top of the bolster or the pillow. We're not looking for depth here, we're just looking for relaxation so that time we spend in this posture will really help to lengthen the spine. So you inhale, extend the spine tall, and exhale, fold yourself over the pillow. Maybe you reach for toes or ankles if you can grab them. Maybe not. Just letting the head and neck go. is one of the most beneficial stretches we can do for our body. If you only have a few minutes, come right here, lengthening the low back, really counteracting all the sitting that we do. Lengthening through the hamstrings. Again, we'll be here for a little while, 10 breaths. It's okay if productivity looks different in this pose. It's okay if it looks different than someone else's. You are bettering your body by just being in this pose. Envisioning that the back expands with each inhale, the ribs are separating side to side, and then with your exhale, they close back in, sending the breath to the spine, to the back ribs. The last 3 breaths here. Make them the biggest ones yet. Make them louder if your mind starts to wander, gently guiding it back to this space. Your last breath here. And your last exhale. Gently start to walk yourself back up. We're going to get rid of the pillow. Just move it to the side. Rock yourself back just a little bit. Bend the knees. Rock them side to side. Just bringing some life back into the body once more. And for our twist before our Shavasana tonight, I know it's crazy that we're already there. You have a choice. You can either use your props and you can do a twist onto the bolster or pillow, or you can just do a normal reclined twist on your back. So I'll show you both. If you'd like to utilize your pillow, just going to place it long ways on your mat or your space, just like we got into our legs up the wall. We're just going to come with one hip up to one side of the bolster, and then you're going to twist your torso over so that you're over top of your pillow. Ideally, your shoulders are facing the same way as your pillow. So that's where the twist will happen, is in the low and mid back. Now, if that's not feeling good or you don't want to do that this evening, you can just move it off to the side and come onto your back. Knees come into the chest, and then they'd rock over to one side. Maybe gaze shifts to the opposite side. So these two stretches access slightly different parts. In the one where you're just on your back in a reclined twist, you're probably going to feel more of a glute stretch and a very gentle spinal twist. If you'd like to go for more of a spinal twist, less of a glute stretch, use your pillow. So choose whichever one works for you. We get into our posture and we're here for 8 breaths. Releasing through the hip flexors, they often like to tense up. Again, relaxing the jaw, reminding the shoulders to melt down the back. Know that you can achieve work in a certain area, namely the head and neck and the shoulders, even if we're not specifically targeting that area. You can often find points of growth about your own self, even if you weren't necessarily focused on them. I know that happens. So just the same with our bodies this evening. Couple more breaths here. Small progress is still progress. You are not weak for needing rest. Your last breath here. And exhale, let it go. Gently bring the knees up through the center. Or if you are on your pillow, just start to walk yourself up back through center. We're gonna bring our legs around, just in front. Take a gentle seated forward fold, just to reset the back. No props this time, just a brief fold. And then exhale, come on back up. We're coming to side 2, so I do recommend trying whatever you tried on side 1 just as a start, and then you can always adjust if you'd like. So leave your pillow there and maybe just twist your body. It's easier than moving the pillow. Or come into your recline twist on side 2. Coming into your posture, we are here for 8 breaths again. Once more, letting the hip flexors go, breathing into the back, letting the ribs expand with your breath. A few more breaths here. Make them nice and deep, nice and full. Beautiful job. Last breath here. And last exhale. Gently start to come back up through center. Slower the better. And we take one more centered forward fold. before we find our resting pose this evening. So we inhale, arms come up high to the sky. Exhale, fold. Beautiful job. Inhale, come on back up. Exhale, let it go. We're going to come into our final resting pose. So you have many choices here. Maybe you found a pose that you like this evening. Centered pose, I would recommend. Or if you would like, you can just come flat on your back. No props necessary. I'm going to come into a Shavasana with a bolster underneath of my knees just to kind of help my low back reset, and something underneath of my neck. Once you get there, just start to let everything go. Take a gentle body scan, starting from the toes, the tips of the toes, all the way up through the crown of the head. Very slowly breathing into each area, the ankles, the shins, the knees, the calves, and so on. Noticing any tension that they have, and on your exhale, it's the opportunity to let it go. Throughout this season of change, our breath is here to remind us of what hasn't changed, of what we still have, and what will take us to the next day, the next month, the next year. There will be moments of courage, moments of fear, moments where things seem like they're all changing, moments where things stay the same. And it's okay to notice those moments. It's good to notice those moments. But we are the gateway. We are the gatekeeper to know what comes in and what goes out. We notice how love has continued to find us, what we've stayed true to. And we commend ourselves for those moments where we needed to take some time to rest. Dedicating this time to yourself. Take 3 intentional inhales, deepening exhales. Centering, grounding yourself here in this moment of rest. After your final exhale, gently start to bring some life back into your body, wiggling through your ankles, through your wrists, taking whatever stretch feels good to you, maybe a good morning stretch, almost a good night stretch, really. Maybe bending the knees, rocking knees side to side until you find yourself over to one side and then gently coming up to a seated position, eyes staying closed. Hands can be on top of the knees, face down for grounding, or facing up to receive some energy to close out the practice in your evening. One big inhale and releasing, clearing exhale. Beautiful. Hands come to heart center. We acknowledge each other's presence and vibrations in this space that we've cultivated tonight with one final Om, knowing that our vibrations are happening at the same time, even if we can't hear it. Inhale for Om. Beautiful. Fluttering open your eyes. We bow to each other. I bow to you. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's my honor to be here with you in this space. And I hope you had a wonderful evening, and I hope you have an even better week. Thank you so much. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the chat below or go ahead and unmute yourself. But I'll stop our live feed here.